Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome to Tech of the Day. Today we're gonna talk about Azure certifications actually. And in this series we have first basic certification which is AZ-900. AZ-900 is about Azure Fundamentals, but this covers everything. It covers about basic why do we need cloud to support how what kind of support systems support is provided by Microsoft like SLAs and what is best what architecture suits you the best, so it covers everything. And most of the times you have only one answer or two answer, and those answers are conflicting, and sometimes you are in doubt, should I select this, and that's why you lose it. You need 700 points out of 1000. And I'm not saying that I know everything, but I did it 2 times. That's why I know its basic tricks. And I will take you with me to your journey to get your certification Azure AZ-900. Let's get started.
AZ-900 Azure Fundamentals certification. This is the basic course we need to start our journey with Azure Fundamentals certification. Sorry, certifications. And this certification covers all the topics, the basic topics about Azure and cloud computing. In this one, it is divided in four modules. First one is understand cloud concepts, understand core Azure services, understand security, privacy, compliance, and trust, understand Azure pricing and support. So the first one is 15 to 20%, second core services is 30 to 35%, security, privacy, compliance, and trust is 25 to 30%, and the last one, Azure pricing and support, is 25 to 30%. This the fourth module is the toughest one. I'm not saying the toughest one, but the most complicated one, because we don't focus on it, we don't study it a lot, we don't want to learn it a lot. As a developer, we want to focus more on basic concepts and more on products, how we can do something good, something great, but we don't want to focus on pricing and support. So most of the people fail in this one. So I would advise you to do this fourth module at least for 3 or 4 times. uh, I know many colleagues of mine who were really good with the Azure but failed with the certifications. Even I failed for the first time because I took it so lightly that I did not even prepare for it and I failed it. So I would advise you to just memorize everything about the fourth module. Let's get started. About me, I'm a senior consultant at Deloitte, Netherlands. My name is Nitesh Sharma. You can find me on Twitter with NK Sharma IN. I have 6 years of experience in .NET development. You can send me email at sarmank366 at gmail.com. You can find more information or links about me in in the description of this video. If you want to connect with me, let's get connected. Okay, let's get started. What is cloud computing? Why would I use cloud? So, simply put, cloud computing is the delivery of computing services including servers, storage, databases, networking, software analytics, and intelligence over the internet, the cloud, to offer faster innovation, flexible resources, and economies of scale. You typically pay only for cloud services you use, helping you lower your operating costs, run your infrastructure more efficiently, and scale your business needs change. So, why would you use cloud? Because you get servers, storage, database, networking, software, analytics, and intelligence over the internet, and you don't pay for them beforehand. You mostly, typically, you only pay for what cloud services you use, and this lower your operating costs. You don't have to worry about infrastructure. You don't have to worry about physical security. So that's why I would use cloud. Let's give an overview of cloud services. Azure Cloud Services. Here is an example of platform as a service, which you can see. I have a web role, worker role. I have an storage account, and to connect, I have a cloud service. Here I have the user. This is just a simple overview. Not We won't go in detail in here, but we will look at it later. Benefits of cloud computing. Why would I use cloud? Because cost, speed, global scale, productivity, performance, reliability, and last but not least, security. Cost, as you all know, you only pay for what you use, and there is very less or almost no capital expenditure. That means you don't heavily invest in your infrastructure, your hardware, but you rent it. So you don't have to worry about capital expenditures. Speed, you can with the click of mouse click, you can really create new services. Most cloud computing services are provided self-service and on demand. So even vast amount of computing resources can be provisioned in minutes, typically with a just a few mouse clicks, giving businesses a lot of flexibility and taking the pressure off the capacity planning. Global scale. The benefit of cloud computing services include the ability to scale elastically. In cloud speak, that means delivering the right amount of IT resources, for example, more or less computing power, storage, bandwidth, right when they are needed and from the right geographic location. So it has the global reach and global scale. Productivity. On-site data centers typically require a lot of racking and stacking, hardware setup, software patching, and other time-consuming IT management course. Cloud computing removes the need for many of these tasks. So IT teams can spend time on achieving more important business goals. We can focus on mostly what we like. So as for developers, we don't have to worry about how how it will work in data center. So we don't have to waste our almost 40% of the time in managing these things. We can more focus on development what we like. Performance. The biggest cloud computing services can run on a worldwide network of secure database data centers, which are regularly upgraded to latest generation of the fast and efficient computing hardware. This offers several benefits over a single corporate data center, including reduced network latency for applications and greater economies of scale. Reliability. Cloud computing makes data backup, disaster recovery, and business continuity easier and less expensive because data can be mirrored at multiple redundant sites on the cloud provider's network. So, backup, disaster recovery, and high availability can make it really reliable Security. Many cloud providers offer a broad set of policies, technologies, and controls that strengthen your security posture overall, helping protect your data, apps, and infrastructure from potential threats. So we will cover most of these topics later on. This is just an overview about benefits of cloud. Next module is about cloud concepts. So this is the first module, principles of cloud computing. We will talk about it in next video. Till now it was just an introduction about Azure cloud. I hope you liked it, and stay tuned for the next video. See you.
Welcome to series of AZ-900 Azure Fundamentals certification. We are going to talk in this video about the first module, understand cloud concepts. What is cloud? What is cloud? Why should I use cloud? So simply, I'm going to talk about cloud concepts in this module. But we have already talked about in my previous video. We have already talked about cloud. What is cloud benefits? So I will not go on this two three topics again. If you want to watch, please go back. I will just give you a brief catch up on this. We have already talked about it, and benefits because it has cost benefits, speed, productivity, global scale, performance, and security. Uh, but also it's scalable. So in so if you say it has vertical scaling and horizontal scaling, vertical scaling is scaling up. You increase the capacity of your CPU or computing power. Horizontal scaling is you increase or add more servers. It's elastic, so it can scale itself. You don't have to. Sometimes it can auto scale up, scale down, scale in, scale out. So it's elastic, it's current, it's reliable, and it's global. It's secure. Also, if we want to talk about compliance, so it has also certain compliance terms requirements such as criminal justice, information server services, general data protection, GDPR, EU model clauses, health insurance portability and accountability act. So it has multi um, compliance terms and requirements fulfilled. So you can simply just use them and just benefit from them. So in this was just brief about the previous video we had. Let's continue. Economies of scale. Economies of scale is the ability to do things more efficiently or at a lower cost per unit when operating at a larger scale. This cost advantage is an important benefit in cloud computing. These savings are apparent to end users in a number of ways, one of which is ability to acquire hardware at a lower cost. Cloud providers can also make deals with local governments and utilities to get tax savings. So this is more cheaper. Capital expenditure versus operational expenditure. Capital expenditure is the spending of money on physical infrastructure upfront and then deducting that expense from all your tax bill over time. CapEx is an upfront cost which has value that reduces over time, whereas OpEx is spending money on services or products now and being billed for them now.
You can deduct this expense from your tax bill in the same year. There is no upfront cost. You pay for a service or products as you use it. So what are the example of CapEx computing? Server cost, storage cost, network cost, backup and archive cost, organization, community and disaster recovery cost, data center infrastructure cost, technical personnel. So there is a lot in capital expenditure. If you are not using cloud, then you all have to do it. In operational expenditure, OpEx, you include leasing software and customized features, scaling charges based on users' demand instead of fixed hardware or capacity, billing at the user or organization level. What are the benefits of CapEx? So one of the benefit is your expenditures in advance. Of course, it is a big investment, but you know all that in advance. Whereas in OpEx, you pay what you use. Cloud deployment models. There are three cloud deployment models. We will talk about them one by one. What is public cloud model? This is most common deployment model. In this case, you have no local hardware to manage or keep up to date. Everything runs on your cloud provider's hardware. In some cases, you can save additional costs by sharing computing resources with other cloud users. So there are many advantages just because of this high scalability, agility. You don't have to buy a new server in order to scale up, scale out. Pay as you go pricing model, so no capex. You are not responsible for maintenance or updates of your hardware. Minimal technical knowledge to set up and use. You can leverage the skills and expertise in cloud provider to ensure workloads are secure, safe, and highly available. Disadvantage is because of course you are not in control, so you have many disadvantages. There may be specific security requirements that cannot be met by using public cloud. There may be government policies, industry standards, or legal requirements which public clouds cannot meet. You don't own the hardware or services and cannot manage them as you want to. Unique business requirements such as having to maintain a legacy application might be hard to meet. So of course it has some disadvantages, but if your application uh, is not falling in all these disadvantages, then you are free to use public cloud. Then there is private cloud model. In private cloud model, you create a cloud environment in your own data center and provide self-service access to compute resources to users in your organization. This offers a simultaneous of a public cloud to your users, but you remain completely responsible for the purchase and maintenance of the hardware and software services you provide. So there is capex. Advantages: you can ensure configuration and support any scenario or legacy application. You have control and responsibility over security. Private clouds can meet strict security, compliance, and legal requirements. Disadvantages, of course, you have a capex, so you must purchase the hardware for startup and maintenance. Owning the equipment limits the agility. To scale, you must buy, install, and set up new hardware. Private cloud require IT skills and expertise that's hard to come by. So, of course, it has some disadvantages. A hybrid cloud, then the third one comes hybrid cloud, which is mix of public and private. A hybrid cloud combines public and private clouds, allowing you to run your applications in most appropriate location. For example, you you could host a website in the public cloud and link it to a highly secure database hosted in your private cloud or on-premises data center. This is helpful when you have some things that cannot be put in the cloud, maybe for legal reasons. For example, you may have some specific pieces of data that cannot be exposed publicly, such as medical data, which needs to be held in your private data center. Then you can have it in your on premises, and you can host your web app in the cloud, public cloud. So you can benefit from both of the things. This is important topic for exam as well. From the exam point of view, they ask you which model suits you the best. So most of the questions are based on hybrid cloud. If they say legacy applications, then you need private cloud. If they say legal obligations, then you need private cloud. If they say if you don't have much, you don't want you are using modern applications, then you need public cloud. And if they say for both, then you need hybrid cloud. So just keep this in mind, and it should be fine. uh, let's talk about type of cloud services. We have three type of cloud services: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. The first one is on premises, which is not included. I mean, it is just for the comparison. Infrastructure as a service is the most flexible category of cloud services. It aims to give you complete control over the hardware that runs your application. IT infrastructure, IT infrastructure servers and virtual machines, storage networks and operating systems. Instead of buying hardware with IaaS, you rent it. It's an instant computing infrastructure provisioned and managed over the internet. When using IaaS, ensuring that a service is up and running is shared responsibility. The cloud provider is not is responsible for ensuring the cloud infrastructure is functioning correctly. The cloud customer is responsible for ensuring the service they are using is configured correctly, is up to date, and is available to their customer. This is referred to as shared responsibility. So there might be question in your exam, what is shared responsibility or related to shared responsibility. So for IaaS, it's shared responsibility. It can be used in many following scenario, like migrating workloads. Typically, IaaS facilities are managed in a similar way as on-premise infrastructure and provide an easy migration path for moving existing applications to the cloud. So it's lift and shift. So if you just want to go to cloud, IaaS might be something to get started with. For testing and development, and also it's good for storage, backup, and recovery. So if you have on premises some applications and you just want some resources in the cloud to backup, storage, and recovery, you can use IaaS. Then you have platform as a service. Platform as a service is an environment for building, testing, and deploying software applications. The goal of a PaaS is to help you create an application quickly without managing the underlying infrastructure. For example, when deploying a web application using PaaS, you don't have to install an operating system, web server, or even system updates. So you don't worry about system updates. Whereas in infrastructure as a service, you have to manage operating system, middleware, and runtime. Means like if there is any updates or software updates or any maintenance. PaaS can be used in following scenarios like development frameworks, analytics for business intelligence. Then you have software as a service, SaaS. SaaS is software as a service is centrally hosted and managed for end user. It is usually based on an architecture where one version of the application is used for all customers and licensed through a monthly or annual subscription. The first example is like Skype, Office 365, Dynamics, and Azure Active Directory. So yeah, you just have to use. So you just consume the service. You don't do any maintenance configuration. You don't have to create that application, manage that application, but you just use that as consume it. What are the differences? So upfront cost in IaaS, there are no upfront cost. You just pay only for what they consume. Same for uh, all of others. The ownership, the user is responsible for the purchase, installation, and management of their own software operating systems, middleware, and applications for IaaS. The user is responsible for their own application and management of configuration and management of their data. But in software as a service, user just use the application software. They are not responsible for any maintenance or management of that service. Cloud provider responsibilities or ownership. The cloud provider is responsible in IaaS only for virtualization, servers, storage, and providing the networking. So they are not responsible for all these things. Whereas in PaaS, cloud providers' responsibility increases, and in SaaS, it is all their responsibility. So, in simple words, it depends what you need. So, depending on your needs, you can use cloud services. Let's check your knowledge. Knowledge check. Let's check your knowledge. Check your knowledge using we have just three questions on Microsoft Docs where you can also see them. I will put the link below. Which term from the list below would be viewed as benefits of using cloud services? Unpredictable cost. What do you think? Local reach only and elasticity. You can easily say elasticity. Suppose you have two types of applications: legacy applications that require specialized mainframe hardware and newer applications that can run on commodity hardware. Which cloud platform, which cloud development model would be best suited for you? What do you think? Public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. What do you think? We have already talked about this. So why? Legacy application, that means you need private cloud, first thing. Then, and newer applications, that means you also need public cloud. So easily what it becomes? Hybrid cloud. I already told about it, and let's see. You are developing an application and want to focus on building, testing, and deploying. You don't want to worry about managing the underlying hardware or software. Which cloud service type is best for you? So you want to focus on building, testing, and deploying. This was the first sentence I talked about when I was speaking about platform as a service. Second thing, you don't want to manage underlying hardware or software. So you don't want to manage it. That means you don't want IaaS. You want Building and testing and deploying. That means you don't have option in SaaS. So simply it's pass. Let's check our answers. Congratulations. These are the correct answers. Elasticity, agility, and economies of scale are the correct answers and would be seen as benefits that you can gain from using cloud services. For this one, a hybrid cloud is public and private cloud combined, which we already talked about. Private platform as a service is best choice here because PaaS services handle the IT management tasks for you. In next video, we will talk about Azure core services, and we will have a practical hands-on Azure services. So stay tuned and watch the next video. Thank you. See you.